if you start a drawing, or if you want to pick or come up with an idea to do during your computer science class or something, you do you feel like a pressure to pick something really good? Because like it could be something really good, right? Theoretically, anything, like your next project could be like the Mona Lisa, or your next project could result in the next 2048 or something. But realistically, it isn't. Like if I have the time to dedicate to drawing a painting, or trying to start a new project on Unity, it's probably not a good idea. Like, I think the advice is that if you want to become a game developer, that you don't make your dream game right off the bat, because like that's gonna end horribly. You're gonna have no skills, your code's gonna be spaghetti, and it's much better to, like, for your first projects, to have them be small, have them be like scope limited, and just, I guess, not try to be a perfectionist the first time around all the time. And I think that's where my problem lies, is that I think I overthink too much. Like, one expression of that, I guess, what people would call like trying to be like perfectionistic, is that I try to think about all the decisions that I have to make beforehand, even before I even do anything. Like in DDP class, not in DE class, which is digital electronics. Like, really common reason for me and my partner to, like, just kind of run out of time making our breadboards is that our priorities are wrong. Is that we try to make sure we get the neatest cable management before we know if our circuits even work, right? So like, my teacher has this constraint, or has this requirement that our cables have to be of a certain neatness, right? To be submitted and to count towards like full credit. And like, our way of thinking is that if we just make the cables neat in the first place, then we won't have to worry about it later. Which is it sounds pretty good, right? Just that when we take up all this time in the beginning to try and match the lengths of the cables, and like find the perfect neat cables from what was like just a general bin of random cables spread everywhere. Like, that's how our class worked. But it just took a lot of time, and when we eventually started testing our breadboards at the end towards the like due date of the class, we find out that our circuit doesn't even work, and our debugging time is just non-existent now, because we started so late working on the actual circuit. Which is one thing that I learned, is that neatness kills, and I gotta put my priority on making sure if the circuit works, and then like replacing the cables, which is probably, that story is easy to understand, but I don't know why that even if I can, like, in another area, admit that I have, I guess, a problem with this specific thing, that I can't fully apply it to other projects like art or YouTube or like programming. Like, for example, circling back to like a programming example, is that in our mobile development class, when we're given projects, like usually to make our own iOS or Android app, we have to come up with an idea, right? And it just takes me a really long time to come up with an idea, which, in hindsight, is probably like one of the worst ways to allocate my effort, because in mobile dev class, the point is not to really, I guess, come up with the next startup idea, like startup application, right? Technically, like anything could happen. You could invent the next Google right in that class. You know, how cool would it be to be like, oh, you know, I developed this game in mobile dev class when I was in senior year of high school. But it's really not how it works. Like, the point of making projects is to help you learn, like, and consolidate all of the stuff that you've been learning. And it probably would have benefited me more to like spend the vast majority of my time trying to learn more about the code, and for the idea just copy someone else, like, I don't know, copy a game, which is, what I did on the last project. I copied 2048 in the Godot engine, and I think that worked pretty well. But yet again, like, when it comes to YouTube, I want to have the perfect idea for my first video. I want my first video to be like the people that I like watching. I like watching Technoblade. I like watching CGP Grey. I like watching Leva Kiwi. I like watching Accented Cinema. All these different people, and their videos are really polished. Like CGP Grey, he has the most polished videos of them all. Like, he's a tour guide basically. He goes really deep into like a thing that he's researched and gotten really knowledgeable about, and then he explains it with a lot of grace, a lot of clarity, and I'm getting shot at a bunch of times, which is not very cool. But I will, like, subconsciously, even if I know that I can't make that, I want to like if CGP Grey watched my video, like, I wouldn't want him to like cringe at my videos. I want my videos to set. I want my videos to at least exist if we had a bar to compare to. And maybe if I can't copy CGP Grey, I can try to copy Technoblade, right? He's a really funny guy. But if you investigate further and you try to actually make videos in his style, let's say his Skyblock, like Skywars format, you would realize that it's really hard trying to play Skywars and talking at the same time, or at least as you begin doing it. Maybe he's done it for like a lot of years, so he might be better at it, at multi-processing than most people. But it still holds. It's really hard to multitask, talk about something while also trying to defeat some noobs on the other side, which I'm clearly not doing right now. I just got defeated. But like, his humor, if you try to investigate it, is that he has to talk in an entertaining way while also having like good gameplay in the background, which, like, to me, I think he just recorded it real time, right? Like most people nowadays, they come up with a script and then they put some footage in the background. But like, his way of speaking, I don't think is like scripted in any way. Maybe he had some show notes or something. You probably realize that if you wanted to become as intuitively funny and entertaining as Technoblade in like most, by just like jumping into any experience, like jumping into a Bed Wars video or jumping into a Skywars format, an SMP format, just being able to like make the situation funny. That's a skill in itself that you probably have to develop over the years, right? You can't just willy-nilly make your first video and acquire that skill, like invoke that skill. Because, you don't have it. It's a skill. It's not something that you just do. Is this guy hacking, bro? But yeah, that just makes you really discouraged. 2 YouTubers down, and I can't emulate either of them. Let's look at Accented Cinema. Like, Accented Cinema, he's like really knowledgeable. What I describe him as is like someone who would be like making video essays the same as what I would want to make, right? But then he also has a really iceberg amount of knowledge about movies. Is this the same guy, bro? Pretty sure he's hacking. Like, what I know about him is that what I know about Accented Cinema is that like he's went to film school, he's watched a ton of different movies, and he's like has an iceberg of knowledge, and you probably call him an expert in movies, right? And what is this guy? Oh my gosh, bro! Come on, bro! Come on! And you can't, just analyze movies. I'm gonna try to like dodge him. What I'm trying to say is that you can't just go willy-nilly and make videos in the style of like Accented Cinema without having his depth of knowledge and like breadth of knowledge of movies from all of these different cultures. You're just gonna be missing like the expertise. No, if you do actually try to like make it without the expertise, you're just gonna be LARPing. Like, there's no way around it. Like, your video is not gonna be interesting. Like, he's interesting because he has all this different stuff to draw on that I feel like I can't capitalize on. Like, maybe I could make videos on art. Maybe I could make videos on video games or video game development or programming, but I'm not a master at any of those. It's like, if I tried to compare myself to Accented Cinema either, it just wouldn't work out either. I honestly don't have that level of mastery. I have like a lot of intermediate skills in a lot of different things because I'm interested in a lot of different things. Like, I could talk about Chinese, I could talk about learning Japanese, I could talk about chess, talk about songs and stuff. But if I wanted to make a video like Accented Cinema, then I probably can't. Which, 3 out of 3 right now that we just analyzed. I can't make videos like that. Which, if you start to look at the pattern, I'd probably start to think that I can't make videos that I myself would even want to watch. Why would I even start on YouTube? Which I feel like I don't have a clear answer to yet. Like, this video is my answer to like that 困惑, to that kind of mentality. Hopefully in making this video I'd be able to learn how to talk more confidently, how to make videos more like Technoblade, or draw on a bunch of knowledge like Levi Kiwi. Like, Levi Kiwi makes a lot of videos that are really good, and he just talks about his interest and stuff. Like, what I'm trying to say is that I should probably stop complaining about how I can't make something that's really perfect without making something imperfect first and start to learn stuff before I create a masterpiece. Because in hindsight, like, the mentality of just starting and making a masterpiece is kind of like misinterpreting how masters at anything get produced. Like a goal that I think would be very cool to reach is to become a grandmaster at chess. But if you think about it, like if you look at Magnus Carlsen or Hikaru Nakamura, yes, they are like absolute geniuses in terms of chess. But if you look at how much they train, like for most people, it's gonna be an egregious amount of time that you'd have to dedicate in order to learn chess. And most people just aren't willing to do it, including me. I'm not willing to dedicate like most of my childhood to chess just to become a grandmaster. Like I think a lot of people just look at the results, focus more on the results than like the process. Like even if you look at great people from history, like Napoleon and stuff, like he's the emperor of France, like and a really good general, but like you don't pay attention that he came in from like a relatively poor family. Well, I guess he wasn't noble, but like a small noble, but he didn't grow up like with a lot of wealth, being sent to like a school away from his homeland, and he still managed to make it. Like the point is that like you don't focus, like you don't imagine Napoleon's rise as like being that of a poor student in a military academy or something. You just imagine him being a military genius, going into the army and then like showing his skill, showing his natural valor, stuff like that. Which like I could talk about these things all I want. It's just that I need to take action, which is what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to take action right now. Fuck. By making this video. Hopefully by making this video, I could get my hands on something and try editing it. Try getting some feedback from any potential audience that might watch this video. Give me some ideas on what I should make for my next video. But yeah, the last thing I think I want to talk about is like my aspirations and like my regrets if I don't even make a single video during this whole summer, right? Like I'm going into college, and like this is probably like one of the more free times of my life that's ever gonna be out there. As to say, like you don't get summer breaks when you finish college and get a job. So this would probably be a really good time to start anything. But I'd be really upset if I set my goal as wanting to become a YouTuber, like ever since I was in 4th grade. Like I had the aspiration of being a YouTuber, but I started to like try and make some videos seriously during like sophomore year of high school on another channel and stuff. And it's just a long-term thing that I've been thinking about. I just never found a good way to start. And at least I could try to at least if I released a video right now, I could have something to show for it. I don't want to have nothing to show for it, which makes you wonder, like, is this the thing that I'm supposed to be worrying about? Is this the right question to ask? Like, should I be worrying about if I have something to show for it or not? But I guess it's a more productive way to think about it. Even if it might be like considered even a little bit toxic, because like you get to change, you get to instill some change in your life by actually making something. That pretty much concludes my rant. If you look at the top right, it's a 4:18 a.m.